south and the southeast as well. It's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag depending on where you are. It could be really, really stormy or really, really nice. So let's help you plan it out. We're going to start with Saturday here, and I'm going to steal Dr. Postel's term, the ring of fire, because we do have those showers and thunderstorms kind of arcing over parts of the south and the southeast, but heads up in parts of eastern Oklahoma. If you're doing some camping, you've got the Ozarks, and you also have the Great Smoky Mountains in play. So just keeping in mind, if you are doing that kind of weekend getaway, that could be an issue for you. If you're visiting some of these places, just take a quick mental note of what county you're in so that if a warning is issued in a place maybe you're not as familiar with, you know it's for you. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty hot and sunny. Atlanta 87, New Orleans 90 degrees, Brownsville all the way up to 95. So the Texas Gulf Coast in pretty good shape here for the weekend. By Sunday, some of those showers and thunderstorms now into central and south Texas, now into North Georgia and Alabama. We're going to stay dry. We think Atlanta may squeak by here for the weekend without some rain. Also into Florida, keeping an eye on the chance for an afternoon thunderstorm across South Florida, including in Miami, a hot 91 degrees for you. Here comes Monday. Now is catching up with the rest of the south and the southeast. That includes Atlanta, New Orleans, and over into the mid-Atlantic coast, Hilton Head, Outer Banks. And you probably have heard us talk about in the past straight line winds as opposed to winds created by a tornado. So let's kind of dive into what that means and how it happens. So you have a thunderstorm way up aloft. You have some dry air moving into the thunderstorm. That allows some of that the moisture in the cloud to evaporate. That is a cooling process, and cooler air is heavier. So that's going to sink on down along with the downward momentum of the precipitation. So that as it plunges downward encounters the ground. It's not going to go through the ground, so those winds, that air hits the ground and spreads out in a forward motion ahead of that thunderstorm. So those strong winds push the objects, debris in that same direction. So that's one of the signatures afterwards that you look for to see if it was a straight line wind event or tornadoes, where you may see more of a twisting. But I have to tell you, they could be just as damaging, if not more, than tornadic winds because of the scope. You could have it over a very large distance and you can still get those winds 80+ miles per hour. So some safety tips. You've got to secure the loose outside items. We're talking lawn furniture, outdoor toys. Stay away from trees and power lines. Go to the lowest level of your house, away from windows. That sounds familiar, right? We tell you that in times of a tornado warning. And if driving, pull over to a safe area. Those are all things that will help you ride out some nasty weather. So looking at what we're dealing with for today, the potential for some damaging winds, including straight line winds all the way from Pennsylvania, South Jersey, down into North Carolina.
Well, you know, the beaches, the pools are going to be popular destinations this Memorial Day holiday, but you got to keep safety in mind when you're around that water.
And joining us now is Wyatt Worth with the American Lifeguard Association. Always great to talk to you. Let's start with something that can be very common. Your kids are playing in the water right in front of you. You look away and you don't see them. What do you do?
And of course, when you're talking about getting out there to the beaches, rip currents can be a big concern. Are there any special precautions that are in place when there's a big risk for rip current?
You've done it all, years of experience. Let's boil it down to maybe one thing that if you could wish that parents and beachgoers know and do right now to have a safe weekend, you go.
That's pretty amazing statistic there. Wyatt, we always appreciate you giving us the latest here, the safety tips and heading into the beaches as well as pools as well, which will be very much so packed for the next several days.
Have a great weekend.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Important information, so important. Take advantage of their expertise. And I think one big mistake too, people are overconfident. You know, even on a sunny day, that ocean can be...
In fact, it's worse when it's sunny because everyone thinks everything's fine out there.
Yes.
Well, maybe you plan to hit the theme parks, the amusement parks for the Memorial Day holiday weekend. Why don't we see what the weather holds for us?
Let's do it. Let's do a little tour. Jones Beach, New York. Always a good time. And boy, you've got a great weekend. This is the payoff for all the kind of nastiness that you're seeing out there right now. Not as warm as you might want for a kickoff for summer, but it's going to be dry, at least until Monday.
Yeah, Monday, the day itself, Memorial Day, that's where we have at least that better shot for some showers. So, you know, I'll take 2 out of 3 days.
Yeah.
Right? Venice Beach, on the other side of the country, this is where it's going to be gorgeous all 3 days. And Maria, we're warming as we head towards Memorial Day.
You know, even if you don't get in the water, the visual, right? I mean, people watching epic for Venice Beach, California. So good conditions for that as well.
Yeah, that should be fantastic. All right, let's get you to Coney Island here for you, where we've got tomorrow chances for some rain showers coming in for the afternoon period. So a little touch and go out there. Maybe the earlier you head out there, the better chance things will be looking better by the afternoon, though, the chance for some rain.
And always a good reminder that these parks have their weather safety plan, and not saying that they're going to need it here with just rain showers, but pay attention to if officials do make that call and you need to seek shelter. Listen to them. It's done for a good reason. That may be the case for Sandusky, Ohio, and I've been to Cedar Point.
Oh,
I think it's like the roller coaster capital.
Highly jealous of you.
Yes, it was amazing. But we do have a chance of rain, and you see that lightning eye kind of chance of thunderstorms as well, 75 degrees.
So that'll be certainly a touch and go location there. Certainly watching the skies. Let's get to beautiful San Diego, one of my favorite places to visit. The weather is always lovely here. We've got temperatures that'll be just a bit under 70, but Maria, a little bit of sunshine can go.
A bit of a reprieve today, but boy, things are really going into high gear again this weekend, Dr. Postel.
I think we're going to have a lot of severe weather on Saturday in particular, and also Saturday night. In an area roughly outlined what we've got here in red. And you might even think that it probably extends farther to the east overnight on Saturday. This is more of a dayside type of event. And probably not everywhere where you see red. I think it's going to be tied closely to that low pressure system, the dry line, and this front. That's where the storms are going to start, and they're going to roll that way during the afternoon and overnight hours.
But there are some red flags screaming at us right now that really say this could be, where they do pop, could be pretty explosive.
The atmosphere is going to be extremely unstable across this region, even in places where we're not going to see any thunderstorms, because the air mass will be capped. It's like a lid on boiling water. But near those fronts, that lid is going to be broken open, and instability is going to be released, and we're going to have very big thunderstorms, really tall ones, probably tops over 60,000 feet, and with that comes a lot of potential for severe weather.
Right, and thunderstorms, just to give us a base, what, 40, 50,000 feet could be an average to big thunderstorms, so 60,000 feet, that's significant.
One of the ways we measure instability is using this value called CAPE, and it's an acronym that stands for Convective Available Potential Energy. Essentially, you can think of it as the amount of buoyancy that those thunderstorms can have, how strong those updrafts are going to be. And the more of it, oftentimes, is correlated with the more severe weather you get.
All right, so high values when cool air is above warm, moist air, that makes sense. So greater difference in that, more instability, higher CAPE.
And also the higher values of it, again, bring on the greater severe weather statistically, with more strong straight line winds, heavy rain, hail, and even tornadoes. So it's a parameter that you want to track. And what we'll be dealing with on Saturday is extremely high values. A little inside baseball, CAPE values over 5,000 joules per kilogram in the mixed layer. That's a ton, and there's going to be plenty of support for big storms here.
Again, to give some perspective, if you look at a garden variety thunderstorm, you could have what, CAPE values approaching 1,000 would be enough.
Yes.
You're talking 5,000. So that would overcome maybe other limitations when you're talking about available storm power.
That's exactly right. The wind shear is not going to be off the charts, but the instability will be. And when you blend them together, there is a decent tornado risk across this region, and ultimately probably turning into a high wind risk with any thunderstorm complexes that can hang near the front and roll eastward during the nighttime hours.
And gives us extra pause too when it's on a Saturday and it's on a holiday Saturday. So we really want everyone to pay attention.
Right.
All right, Dr. Postel, thank you.